to my grandmother, Tootie, or Alfera Jacobson, Alfera being her real name. And I'd like to thank her for sitting down with me and answering a few questions so we can have this on tape forever. So I'd like to start out first and ask you where your parents are from, Grandma.
My parents was born and raised in North Dakota.
Both of them in North Dakota, both Norwegians. When and where were you born?
In North Dakota.
How many brothers and sisters did you have?
I had 6 brothers and 5 sisters.
And what are their names?
You want me to give you their names?
Sure, because they're interesting names.
Well, my brother's names, my oldest brother's name was Lloyd. And the second oldest brother was Amherst.
Lloyd, Amherst.
And then there was Jessel. And then there was Lyle. And then there was Jack.
Who I'm named after.
Right.
So with all those kids, what kind of chores and duties did you have to do on the farm that you lived on?
Well, we had to work. We had to help milk cows. We had to help feed the chickens. We had to help separate the milk because my parents, they sold the cream to the creamery. And we raised a lot of chickens. My mom raised a lot of chickens, so we had to gather eggs, wash them, crate them for the market.
Sounds like a lot of work you were doing out there.
Plus, we had lots of housework.
So it was never a dull moment.
Never a dull moment. We never had time to get bored.
So when you weren't doing chores, what did you like to do for fun?
We really didn't have no time. Because we all had help in the house with the cooking, and because everything was homemade. And in canning season, we all had to partake and help our mom can. Because she'd can 800-900 quarts of fruits and vegetables.
That's quite a bit of work.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't say that was the fun part of the whole thing?
Well, we was interested in it because in them days, you know, our parents believed that the girls, especially, needed to learn to cook and bake and sew and all that. So we never got a chance to
Gallivant
around.
It's not like today, is it?
No.
What was your school like back then in North Dakota?
It was a one-room schoolhouse, and all the grades were in the school, you know, and there was usually about 28 to 29 kids in the room, and we had a big pot-bellied stove for heat. In the wintertime, we had 5 miles to walk to school.
So the old story, 1 mile there and 1 mile back, it was 5 miles there. And
Yeah.
5 miles there and back, or just 5 miles?
No, it was 5 miles one way.
Oof.
So we had to get up early in the morning and start out early in the morning.
How long did it take to get to school?
Well, it depended upon how we'd loaf, you know. But we were never late. Never was late.
Well, what subjects were you the best in?
Oh, I was a straight A student in spelling, math, and I loved history.
History was your favorite, huh?
I loved history.
So I kind of talked about this, but what was it like to grow up in a big family? Were you the youngest? Were you the oldest?
No, I was the 4th from the bottom. It was great, Chad, to grow up in a big family. I wouldn't have wanted it any other way. We had more fun amongst us. We didn't have to have outside entertainment because we had it right at home.
There was always someone to...
My dad was a professional violinist, and we always had a piano in the house, and we had our own entertainment.
There's music?
Yeah, and my dad he played the piano at night, or the violin, and one of us girls would play the piano for him, and the kids would dance, you know, because my mom and then the rest of them would sit around, the older ones would sit around and watch the younger ones dance, and that was in the winter time, of course.
So you do the dancing, or did you do the singing?
Well, we done the dancing. We loved to dance.
You're like your own little dance troupe.
Yeah.
So what were the holidays like? Probably an extravaganza, weren't they, like our families are?
That was the big time. And the neighbors were real friendly in them days. I mean, all of our neighbors was friends, and they would invite one another to big dinners.
So you'd get together with neighbors more so than...
Yeah, it was just neighbors, yeah.
Usually not family members from out of town or anything, is that?
No.
It's hard to get around.
Uh-huh.
Did you ever take any family trips together with all of your...
Are you kidding? The farthest trip we got to go on was to town maybe once or twice a month. And in the summertime, we'd get to go to the river to pick berries.
All right. Some of these questions now just kind of have to do with the World War and things of that nature when you were younger. Such as like what was going on politically when you were growing up in the house? Do you remember your parents talking politics or anything? Were you...
No. I can't remember too much about any politics.
Well then, what do you remember about World War II, about how your family coped with it back then? Or did it affect you that much in North Dakota?
Not really. I was married in World War II, and I had 2 kids. And my 4 oldest brothers had to go into defense work, because my oldest brother, he had real bad eyes, so he was 4F. And the other ones, so they was married and had children too, so they were, had to go into defense work. And my husband, he went into defense work, and we were rationed with a lot of things. Tires was rationed, and we followed everything that they wanted, you know.
Was anything typically hard, or very hard to cope with, not having at the time?
The only thing we'd run out of was coffee, because the coffee was rationed. We had coffee coupons.
How'd you manage that, to run out of coffee?
Well, luck would have it there was neighbors that didn't use as much coffee as we did, so they'd give us coupons.
You didn't have to trade, they'd give it to you?
Yeah.
Oh, that was nice of them.
Yeah. And then gasoline was rationed too, so you couldn't, go like you would normally.
You had to kind of stay close to home?
Yeah, you had to save your gas to go to church and to go to the store. And
do you remember how much gas was?
I think it was 29 cents a gallon, if I remember right.
But you couldn't have all you want, of course. But
no.
And today that would be probably the same price, I guess, wouldn't it?
Well, I don't know.
Maybe I can figure. Adjusted to inflation, it's probably
Well, yeah, I
somewhere
suppose,
close.
according to, what people made then. Because, they didn't have good wages.
What was your general feeling about the war? Like, was it a good idea? Were you patriotic?
Well, it was, as far as I can remember, the United States was thrust into it. It wasn't something that they wanted to do, but, we were attacked and, President Roosevelt, he had to take care of it.
Were you frightened at all by that?
No.
What was happening? No?
Mm-mm.
Thought we were safe?
Yeah, we were not frightened.
So you had enough food and money the whole time?
We had plenty of food and plenty of everything.
I've never known us to be without
We
food.
were never deprived.
Was there anyone close to you that actually fought in combat that you knew of?
Oh yes, we had nieces and nephews that went, and yeah, we had close neighbors that went. I was drafted.
Did most of them come back, or?
Some did, and some didn't. My husband's nephew, he was in Iwo Jima, so he had quite an experience.
But he made it.
He made it.
So what kind of car did you have when you were during the World War II, when you were in the gas shortages?
We had a Chevrolet.
An old Chevy.
We had a Chevrolet. It wasn't old at the time.
Was it a pretty good looking car?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a real good looking car.
Did it put kind of your family in a higher class than other people? Because you looked all spiffy?
You know it.
They're like, who are those people in the nice Chevy?
We had a new car.
When did you move away from your parents? Were you
When I got married.
when you got married?
Yeah,
Where did you live when you moved out?
in North Dakota.
Just got another place?
Yeah,
In Fargo?
we lived in Fargo.
What values did you instill in your children that you learned as a child?
Well, to be good, upstanding citizens. Honest people. That's what I instilled in all my kids. And that's what I'd like to see my grandkids and my great-grandkids be. Good, honest people.
So that's the values you hope to instill in your great-grandchildren and your
Right.
grandchildren.
Uh-huh.
Well, you've done a good job, Grandma. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And we love you.
We love you too, you know that.
Okay.
Sticky and gummy.
Gummy? Gummy?
Who's sticky?
And then, Ansel or Jad or Ansel, I don't know, called Amherst Mountain.
Mountain?
Mountain.
Sticky, gummy, and mountain.
And what was Jessel's? He probably was Gummy.
No.
No?
What was his nickname? They had a nickname on him, I know that.
What was your nickname?
Well, Tootie.
Tootie.
Oh, yeah. But how does Tootie come to?
Tootie. Rona Donuts, hers was Roni.
Mhm.
How come Tootie?
And
Our neighbor named me that when I was 2 years old.
How come?
Is there a story behind that?
Yeah. Because him and his wife would come over all the time, to Mom and Pop. And they didn't have any children. They couldn't have any children. And he just loved to come over and play with us kids. Like you kids go play with Devin.
Devin.
And I was awfully little for, I was really little. because I only weighed 3 pounds when I was born.
Then they have to put you in a
Shoebox.
Shoebox.
And our neighbor, he always used to pick me up and set me on his lap and bounce me on his knee. And he told my mom that,
What about Dolly?
Dolly's
well,
Nancy.
Dolly, when she was born, she was so friggin' pretty that everybody said she's a doll. She's a doll.
What about Ethel? Ethel was Book?
Yeah,
Book?
Bookie.
Bookie?
Yeah.
Is that just some term of endearment or?
Well, and Artie was
Stella.
Stella?
Yes.
Isn't that a girl name?
And Rona was Roni. You were Tootie.
Isn't Artie, that's a girl name, right?
Yeah.
Either a girl or a boy.
And Ansel, what was he? He was
Reenich.
Reenich.
Yeah.
How do you spell Reenich?
I don't know.
And what was Jad? He was Jaddy.
Yeah.
It's just like Jaddy. And Lyle was
Lyle was soup bone.
Soup Bone.
Soup Bone?
And Jessel was
What was his name? I know they had a nickname for him. Something about his ears, because he had big ears.
he had big ears.
Yeah.
Well, Lyle was skinny when he was little.
That's why
wasn't
they called him soup bone.
he? But he wasn't.
When he was young, though, from the time he was born till he was quite old, he was real thin. He didn't get heavy like he was,
Oh my God.
old and sick.
Eldie was too. How old was Eldie when she passed away?
She was 8 months old.
So she didn't have a nickname.
No, absolutely not.
No. I know Jessel was. I remember you saying sticky gummy.
So Lloyd Evans was Sticky.
One of them was. They called each other that between them. I don't.
That was just the two of them?
Yeah.
Sticky and Gummy?
But the girls went by their nicknames over their.
Uh-huh.
The guys went by Jad and Lyle and.
Yeah.
And then they
Jessel.
just razzed each other.
And they
Yeah.
just razzed each other. But the girls, you guys stuck with your name.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, it's because that's the boys that did that.
yeah. So nobody even knew that you were called.
They did what? They gave you the names or?
Well, the
No.
boys, they nicknamed us, and I mean, they wanted to call us nicknames. They didn't want to call us.
So you didn't call them Soup Bone and
No.
Sticky.
No, you bet not.
You got belted. You want
Well, they got mad.
Okay, you want to go with it? Alright.
All right, we'll have you read off the names here, and then we'll be done.
These nicknames.
No, you don't have to get the nicknames.
No.
So this is Grandma's 12 brothers and sisters, including her.
Okay, the oldest one is Lloyd Evans, Bird, then it's Emersley Bird, and then it's Jessel Jerome Bird, Lyle Emery Bird, Jad Javoy Bird, and Ansel Lindbergh. That's the 6 boys. And the 6 the girls is Ethel Adel, Artie Elfrida, Arona Eldona, Alfera Adele, which is me, Ansi Algerie, and Albie Marie.
All right, thank you, Grandma.
Mhm.
I better have a hug and a kiss.
Yeah, I love you, John.
I love you too.